The next talk will actually be on Zoom, and I will try to to lower that. So the next talk is by Dr. David Doukhan. He's a speech analysis research engineer. He obtained an engineering degree from EPITA and a PhD from the University of Paris Sud. He worked at the MIT and at IRCAM, and he's now a senior machine learning research engineer at the Institut National de l'Audiovisuel. And he's also the coordinator of an ANR-funded called Gender Equality Monitor Project. So he's going to talk to us about deconstructing gender biases on TV and radio.
Thank you. So first of all, I want to thank Eric and Christiane for inviting me to this workshop. I also apologize for not being there because I've been infected with COVID since yesterday. I wanted to come, but I guess you wouldn't have appreciated to see me physically. So I will do this remote presentation. So first of all, the title of the presentation is Deconstructing Gender Biases on TV and Radio. So just in case, I will explicit what I mean by deconstructing. So deconstructing is an activist term, which means describing the socially built differences between men and women. And what we see in TV and radio is basically socially built. So my job in the Gender Equality Monitor Project is to estimate gender biases in media. So it's a complete task, and it can be done using several descriptors of gender bias. The most commonly used descriptor is the presence rate. So it means how many men and how many women are in the program. Another descriptor is the expression rate. It's basically the speech time. How long do people speak? Does men speak a longer time than women, etc. Another descriptor is called the identification rate. It means who are you talking about? For instance, in a TV news program, you may have a women journalist which will talk only of men celebrities. So identification rate is aimed at measuring this, who is mentioned. You can also describe the character roles, on which topic are people being talking about, and are they presented as expert or not. And another point is interruption. Basically, I'm currently supervising a PhD, the PhD of Rémi Hureau, about interruptions and in speech and about interrupting. And it's the defining interruption from a scientific point of view is very complicated. You just need to see the definition of the interrupting as defined by Jessica Bennett. It's an unnecessary interruption of a woman by a man. And basically, it's very difficult to tell what is unnecessary. In the point of view of the guy interrupting, it may not be the same as in the point of view of the audience or of the other person being interrupted. So measuring gender biases in media needs to take account of all of these descriptors in order to describe as well as we can this complex phenomenon. I will mostly present automatic methods. In this presentation, I will talk about automatic, hybrid method, and manual methods. So the manual methods were used before machine learning era, So they allow to describe complex phenomena, but they are costly. What I mean by costly, it means the analysis time is much bigger than the viewing time. So as a result, manual analysis studies are usually realized on a low amount of samples, which may result in sample biases. Means you got very small amount of samples and you generalize with this. On the other part, the automatic methods, they are restricted to describe only simple phenomena. Speech time, men and women speech time is much more simple than interrupting, than topic, etc. They allow to do large-scale analysis. It allows to, at ENA we store 22 million hours of TV and radio. Automatic methods allow to process these 22 million hours quite easily. When you got large numbers, you can compare stuff and you can produce numerical estimates, allowing to feed public debates, or also to guide manual analysis. What I mean by guiding manual analysis means through the automatic methods, you find strange patterns within the data, then you look at it manually to try to understand why did you observe this pattern. Yeah, this is a very small example of sample bias. In a study, we focus on the women in French TV news during the first COVID pandemic. As you can see, for some channels, on April 4th, on France 2, there were only 10% of women depicted, while it could be 55% another day. This means if you do your study a single day, then it may not be the good day. So the first software I will show you is called ENA Speech Segmenter. This allows to measure men and women speech time. So it was basically a machine learning system trained on several men and women voices. It had a large mediatic impact since a few years. So basically at the beginning it was only research, but after this mediatic impact, we managed to transfer this research to the real world. What I'm not telling research is a false world. What I'm meaning by the real world is it's now used in ARCOM's report. So ARCOM is the new name of the CSA. It's the official French authority in charge of producing annual report on men and women presence in TV and radio. So since 3 years, in this report, you can find all automatic speech and face estimations. We also produce some studies for the Member of Parliament, Céline Calvez, who asked us to report on women representation during the first lockdown of the COVID pandemic. Yeah, so basically what this software do, it takes you a sound signal, it tells you where is the male speech, the female speech, the music, the noise, and etc. And this allows to produce some hourly estimates, for instance. So in this figure, what you see is 24 hours. You can see between 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. there was not that much speech because it was night. And then you see the amount of speech of men and women speech along the day. So the most famous study we did was using nearly 1 million hours of program with 20 TV and radio channels. This would have been required 85 years of manual viewing, but we did it with automatic method. So the big results of this study was men speak twice as much as women in French TV and radio. Another big result is for radio, we analyzed radio stream from 2001 to 2018. So this phenomena changes. So the proportion of women speaking evolves. It used to be 1 out of 4, now it's 1 out of 3. So this is changing slowly, but we can hope it will continue. But basically, it continues through the struggles. We also show that the women's speech time is lower during high audience time slot on private TV channels. So that was the first result I had to show you. So lately I designed a new software based on face, allowing to detect faces and to predict age and sex from face. This software is now used in Arcom's report also since since the 8th March. So since 1 month it's in the Arcom report. So basically, what is difficult while building this software, the main difficulty is that underrepresented people in media are also underrepresented in machine learning datasets. It means basically it's the machine learning systems works worse for women than for men. So the system I built was aimed to minimize gender, racial, and age bias. Don't name. So the main conclusion of this year Arcom report is that, as usual, the women speech is lower than the women presence reported to Arcom. We also show that the women speech is lower than the women face on screen. This depends on the program topic. So for news, you got big difference. You got lower women faces than women speech because women in news are mostly off voices. They speak about celebrities on screen and we don't see their faces. On entertainment, you see more women faces than you hear them. So this was the fully automatic methods. Here is an hybrid method. The hybrid method consists to use TV text incrustation, to use automatic method to detect them and to present them to human experts in charge of classifying text incrustation based on speaker occupation or position or symbolic authority. Symbolic authority is the level of expertise, let's say. So the automatic system produce Excel database like this with all TV text incrustation, and then the manual expert have to say which domain is used and which is the symbolic authority. It requires about 20 seconds per incrustation, and this in a 24 TV news stream there is about 100 incrustation. So this means you can analyze 24 hours of TV streams in 40 minutes of manual involvement. So the main conclusion of this study, which was realized during the first COVID pandemic lockdown, was that 30% people depicted were working in the health industry, which is not surprising during the first lockdown of the COVID. What we also saw is that in TV programs, men always have higher symbolic authority than women. That means for any channel, men were more depicted in expertise situation than women. So that's all for today. I thank you for your attention, and I will be very glad to answer any question you may have. Thanks.